Hello, Temple of Aaron. I am back to do member spotlight with two of my favorite congregants, and I'm not just saying that. They are Sam and Max Gantman, who are currently where?
We're in Madison, Wisconsin right now.
Yeah, Madison, Wisconsin. But obviously, you might remember them from the Tussie Plays, from their Sibley football days, from Rabbi Fine smoking them in basketball in the Tussie basketball game, right?
You don't remember that one. No.
It was Josh. It was Josh who was the leading scorer, I remember. So how are you guys doing?
Doing well, Rabbi. Making the most of the last couple of months. Obviously, things have been a little bit weird, but adapting. And like Sam said, I'm on campus at Madison in my apartment here, and Sam's spent the last couple months. I've been out in Cape Cod. The only thing you can really do right now is make the most of a tough situation and take life day by day. I was out in the Cape with a couple of friends. We were doing virtual classes out there and just trying to make the most of the time we had together. Obviously, I'm a senior this year, so this is my last year of college before moving off into the real world. So just been, just like I said, taking it day by day and trying to make the most of it.
So Sam, I want to come to you first. So I know that you missed your senior year of football. Sam was playing at MIT. So what was that like when the team sort of found out, and how are the guys? Are you guys practicing? Are you seeing each other? I mean, what's the vibe been like?
It was definitely difficult at first. We found out in the middle of July that we weren't going to be playing. We were holding out hope for a little bit that maybe the season was going to be delayed. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear the sirens outside. Anyways, we weren't sure if the season was going to get delayed to the spring and what was going to happen with that. But about a month after the initial decision, our coach said that they didn't have any plans to postpone. So that's when it kind of really sunk in that we were done. And it was definitely challenging. Reached out to all the guys on the team. I was the captain this year of the team. And people were upset. A lot of the younger guys were still like we're going to make the most of it. Like we're still going to be doing our best to train during the off season and getting after it. It was definitely challenging for the older guys like myself who knew that we were missing out on our final season. But there's not much you can do. You roll with the punches, and still very thankful for my experience. I met a bunch of great guys, met some awesome coaches that will be mentors and friends for the rest of my life. And you just got to appreciate what you have,
So Max, obviously Sam lost football. What are some of the things that how your experience is changed? I know you told me you can watch your class at any time, which is so weird to me to think about. But, are certain things shut down at school or most things open? How is that working?
Yeah, so on campus, things haven't really been shut down, but most restaurants and, everything is at 25% capacity. Everybody's wearing masks. No football games, unfortunately. So it's been a little bit tough. Like you mentioned, all classes are online. So I basically just watch lectures each week, kind of as they come up. They're recorded, so I can watch them at any time, which has made it a little bit tough just to stay on top of things and whatever. But that's been that. I've just been trying to keep busy, going to the park and playing basketball with friends, getting outside a lot. Thankfully, it's been a pretty warm fall, so been able to go on bike rides and runs. And other than that, I'm in the same apartment building as most of my friends. So at the beginning of the semester, we kind of just decided that we would maintain kind of a bubble just with our group. And that's been nice. But other than that, just like everybody else, hasn't been the same, obviously.
So you both were obviously leaders for our youth department just a few short years ago, even though it might seem like a really long time for you both. It wasn't so long ago for me. It feels like yesterday. And so, but you also mentioned that you've both been sort of involved on campus. So let's our seniors, or maybe even our freshmen too, who are not having the same experience, and our seniors and juniors. What are some of the maybe like a word of advice you guys would have, or how do you locate Judaism on campus when it's in your hands now? Although maybe David's in your ear, saying go. But what's some advice? How do you take advantage of the resources? And you're both at very different campuses, so what advice maybe you have for that?
Yeah, I'll take this one first. Like Rabbi, you just mentioned, obviously Temple Baron gave us a very strong foundation for Judaism and just the community aspect of it. So coming on campus, I knew that I wanted to stay involved, and coming to a school like Madison that has a big Jewish population, I wanted to take advantage of that and, make my community here. And so as soon as I got here, it was very easy to locate the Hillel and the Chabad house. And just start going to Shabbos dinners on Friday nights. And after you've gone to a couple Shabbos dinners and you see friends, whether it's in your dorm or on campus, you start to see the same people that are active in the Jewish community. And it's really cool now that I'm a junior. The Jewish community has really been tight here, and you see everybody in the same activities. I'm also in a Jewish fraternity, ZBT. And so that has been a really awesome way for me to meet. It's not fully Jewish, but it's mostly Jewish kids from New York, LA, Florida, really all over the country come together at school, and go to Yom Kippur services together or have Shabbos dinner together. And just having a group of people to do that stuff with is really cool.
Sam, I know you spent some time in Israel too. So what was that? I know it wasn't, you were not in like you were in Haifa, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So, which isn't like,
Not necessarily a religious center.
It's not religious, but it also is like, it's atypical where students go to Jerusalem or Tel Aviv normally, but you had a great opportunity. So what was that experience like, leaving school first semester and going out there?
Yeah, so that was actually through my school. It was a program called MISI where you're set up to do international travel during a summer, and you do basically an internship with some organization out there. I was working with the Israeli Institute of Technology, the Technion, and so they're centered in Haifa, which is why I ended up there. But no, it was a really, really cool experience. I had been to Israel before. In high school, I went on a week-long trip with Team Mifgash through the JCC, or the Jewish Federation. And then before actually staying in Israel for the summer, we got to do Birthright together as well,
Oh, nice.
which was a lot of fun with some other people actually from the synagogue, Max Sam, Andrew, Rachel, Sasha, Noah Dockman. So that was a ton of fun. Got to see all of Israel basically and be immersed in that culture for the summer. And it was really cool getting to go to the different local shops and try out the different cuisine there. Get to, ride on the bus or the train in Israel and kind of listen to Hebrew conversations going on. It was strange not knowing the language, but it was still a really really cool experience. I'm very grateful for it.
It's always funny when you end up in some of these Israeli cities that are more, like Haifa, speak a lot more Hebrew than they do English, whereas Tel Aviv, like almost everyone knows English, or same with Jerusalem. But I always find what's funny is that especially when you go to a restaurant, the Israeli waiter realizes you're American. They want to work on their English, so they speak to you in English, but you want to work on your Hebrew, so you want to speak some Hebrew. It's like a reverse conversation where you're both speaking the
other person's language. Yeah. I definitely had a few of those experiences. It never really went well on my end. Unfortunately, I could always read out of the prayer book or out of the Torah, but in terms of picking up the language, it was challenging.
It's totally different. My wife's Hebrew is decent in a restaurant. Anywhere in Israel, outside of a restaurant, it's irrelevant. She doesn't know anything. It's like only restaurant Hebrew. That's what she knows, because that's what we did. We went to restaurants and she picked it up. So it's been so great catching up with you guys. And I hope you have a safe drive back here to Minnesota, and then safe travels. And obviously keep safe, and we miss you, of course. And if the building was open, I would say, or coffee shops are open, I'd say, we'd get together, but this has been great too. And my love to you both.
Yeah, it's been awesome getting to catch up with you, Rabbi. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us as
Of
well.
course.
Yeah,
My
definitely good catching up. Stay safe. Everyone else who's watching, stay safe, and we'll be back soon.
All right.